The Wall Street crash of 1929 had sent shockwaves through the world, shaking the foundations of countries that had yet to recover from the crushing effects of World War I. Among the hardest hit by the economic collapse was Germany. But Germany was not alone, for nation after nation throughout the world, patience, tolerance, and parliamentary rule were trod underfoot. The disillusioned, the defeated, and the unemployed succumbed to the lure of strong-willed authoritarian rule, without stopping to seriously question the credentials of the leaders who promised to save them. It was the spring of 1933, and the world watched in horror as an ominous new force rose from the ruins of war-ravaged Germany. But how had Hitler's Nazi Party come to power in a world supposedly forever free for democracy? To understand, we must roll time back to the early years of the century. It was 1910, and George V was about to be crowned King of England. Across the continent, in St. Petersburg, the regal Romanovs of Russia were enjoying their last grand years of pomp and privilege. Tsar Nicholas, here with Tsarina Alexandra, had attempted to carve out a colonial empire in Asia and the Far East. But his ambitions, like those of Britain, were in conflict with those of Germany's iron-willed Kaiser Wilhelm, nephew of the British king. In the friction between the colonial powers, the stage was set for World War I, which would bring the old monarchies of Europe to an end. August 1914. War fever swept the continent, and with a fervor, bright-eyed volunteers by the hundreds of thousands blindly headed for the front. Ragged and untrained, they marched off to battle, unaware that in this war there would be no easy victory. Within weeks, the great adventure had become a brutal battle of blood-stained trenches and belching guns. What began as a squabble among gentlemen now seemed to be a nightmare without end.